Hello everyone, I'm Brian Miller, and this is the NewsNet Weekly Roundup, the weekly show where I break down the biggest news stories out of the Star Wars universe. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell to be notified anytime there's new content. Without further ado, let's get started. Unless you've been living under a rock for the last month, you already know that the Ahsoka series is bringing the heat. And after the ending of last week's episode, many fans were wondering what more the show could give us and just how much better it could possibly get. Then, on Wednesday, Lucasfilm announced that Episode 5 would be shown in 10 theaters across the US, as well as one theater in London. Ever since they announced Dave Filoni would be coming back to direct Part 5, the writing has been on the wall for this next episode being pretty massive, and Disney committing to fan events to celebrate such an anticipated moment underlines that thought. Because not only will we be seeing the first time Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka speaks to Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker, we assume Part 5 will also be when we meet Lars Mikkelsen as the live-action Grand Admiral Thrawn and possibly, after 5 years, finally find Ezra Bridger. And if that wasn't enough, we'll be seeing a new galaxy for the first time in Star Wars. Make sure to tune in to Star Wars Newsnet Live on Thursday night for a discussion on the latest episode of Ahsoka, where we'll be back with our spoiler discussion of Part 5. Fans will reportedly be able to add the first seasons of Andor and the Book of Boba Fett and the third season of The Mandalorian to their Blu-ray collections soon. YouTuber In Search of Physical Media indicated that Lucasfilm and Disney have plans to release 4K Blu-ray steelbooks of various Star Wars shows, including the third season of The Mandalorian, the first season of the Book of Boba Fett, and the first season of Andor. The Mandalorian will arrive early next year, and while he asked about the first season of Obi-Wan Kenobi, he did not apparently hear any news on that front. It appears that physical media of that show and potentially other Star Wars shows may depend on the sales and pre-orders of these upcoming Star Wars Disney Plus projects on Blu-ray. He also indicated that these physical releases are limited editions and additional copies are not guaranteed to be made down the road. Twitter user The Disc Father also supported the reports of both Season 1 of Andor and Season 3 of The Mandalorian getting Blu-ray releases sometime next year. But he did not say if Season 1 of the Book of Boba Fett or any other Star Wars show would get the same treatment. As of this time, only the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian have been confirmed to be receiving a physical release, making it the only Star Wars media to do that so far. Lucasfilm has multiple Star Wars Disney Plus shows as part of their original programming, including Obi-Wan Kenobi, the first 2 seasons of The Bad Batch, the first 2 volumes of Visions, and the final season of The Clone Wars. But as of right now, there is not an official news report about the possibility of a Blu-ray release for these shows. Star Wars gamers waiting for a more stable frame rate in Star Wars Jedi Survivor can rejoice, as developer Respawn Entertainment has finally released a new patch that fixes performance mode. Those who have already played Survivor might remember that the game's frame rate started to drop frequently while exploring Kobo's more expansive areas, causing a stuttering effect when moving the camera, while PC gamers found the experience borderline unplayable at some times. This new update should fix these issues with, quote, additional performance and optimization improvements, unquote, also added for PC. While these optimizations to performance mode should definitely help provide a smoother experience than at launch, the patch notes also recommend disabling ray tracing while in performance mode, which is bound to help. The patch also notes some other nice improvements, such as the same optimizations for quality mode, variable refresh rate support for the PS5, and various bug and crash fixes. There's never been a better time to try out Star Wars Jedi Survivor's New Game Plus mode, or jump into the game for the first time if you're one of the people who've been waiting for a more stable experience before stepping back into the shoes of Cal Kestis. While there is still a team at Respawn dedicated to implementing these quality of life fixes to Survivor, that doesn't mean that's all the developer is doing. It's very likely that the game's creative director is already working on the story for the third game and the Star Wars Jedi series, as the company is currently hiring, while Respawn are also reportedly working on an entirely new Star Wars first-person shooter game. As we've seen with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor, Respawn doesn't tend to miss when it comes to the quality of their Star Wars games, so the future is bright for Star Wars gamers. Longtime Star Wars scribe John Jackson Miller is returning to a galaxy far, far away next year with a brand new novel titled Star Wars: The Living Force. Set 1 year before The Phantom Menace, Miller will be taking readers on what is being described as a road trip with each member of the Jedi Council, while one member of the Order fears that they're about to decline into nothing. The Living Force will be released on April 9th, 2024. Miller is the brain behind the beloved Kenobi novel, Dark Horse's Knights of the Old Republic comic, and the first novel in canon, A New Dawn. This is his first long-form Star Wars project since A New Dawn's publication in 2013. IO9 broke the news of Random House World's next novel along with a look at the full cover and synopsis. In the year before The Phantom Menace, Yoda, Mace Windu, and the entire Jedi Council confront a galaxy on the brink of change. The Jedi have always traveled the stars, defending peace and justice across the galaxy. But the galaxy is changing, and along with it, the Jedi Order. More and more, the Order finds itself focused on the future of the Republic, secluded on Coruscant, where the 12 members of the Jedi Council weigh crises on a galactic scale. As yet another Jedi outpost left over from the Republic's Golden Age is set to be decommissioned on the planet of Quen, Qui-Gon Jinn challenges the Council about the increasing isolation of the Order. Mace Windu suggests a bold response. All 12 Jedi Masters will embark on a goodwill mission to help the planet, and remind the people of the galaxy that the Jedi remain as stalwart and present as they have across the ages. But the arrival of the Jedi leadership is not seen by all as a cause for celebration. Warring pirate factions have infested the sector, and the increasing absence of the Jedi. To maintain their dominance, the pirates unite, intent on assassinating the Council, and they're willing to destroy countless innocent lives to secure their power. Cut off from Coruscant, the Jedi Masters must reckon with an unwelcome truth, that while no one thinks more about the future than the Jedi Council, nobody needs their help more than those living in the present. In the past number of years, Lucasfilm Publishing has not been afraid to explore the fall of the prequel-era Jedi, with Inquisitor Rise of the Red Blade being the most recent example. Qui-Gon Jinn has also been at the center of much debate, and Miller took notice. Star Wars The Living Force will be available in all forms on April 9th, 2024, and is available for pre-order now. And finally, we have some new canon for you this week. The 4th episode of Ahsoka dropped on Tuesday, The High Republic Tales of Light and Life released on September 5th, and comic issues Bounty Hunters number 37 and Star Wars number 38 released on Wednesday. Reviews for those entries into the canon timeline can be found on our website. And that does it for your Newsnet Weekly Roundup this week. All of these stories and more can be found in greater detail on our website, StarWarsNewsNet.com. Don't forget to check back regularly for updates to stories and breaking news out of the Star Wars universe. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also follow me on Twitter at BrianMiller1138 and catch me each week on my show, the Star Wars Canon Podcast. Until next time, may the Force be with you.